We'll be there soon. Just make sure you save some room for us.
Just get here soon. I'll take care of the rest. As the sealed-only landscape changes, we have to make sure that we stay on top of it. There are rivals everywhere that we need to watch out for, and some of them haven't even gotten touched by this ban list. Take, for example, Reigning Card Games, leader of sealed-only Dragoonity. He has a star chip rating of 7. For some, it's not even combo decks that we even need to watch out for. This duelist in particular likes to bring people down to her speed. This one is the Ghost Trick Gal, control deck master and a beautiful bully. She has a star chip rating of 5. As we get higher among the ranks, there's some other duelists that we eventually will run into. These duelists have a particular set of skills and quality to their content. They're the ones that are really going to give us a run for our money. Just like the passionate painter, Ruggles. He has a star chip rating of 8. But we also do have other sealed-only competitors that we do need to watch out for. And spellcasters similar to dragons are some of the most supported franchise. This duelist in particular, the Mash Charmer, Demo. He has a star chip rating of 6. And even to finish it off, with the ban list being what it is, there's still other people that we need to watch out for, such as Banished for Cost, leader of the deck building Wolfpack. He has a star chip rating of 7. All in all, we don't even know where the next rival could come from. It could be even one of our viewers. Alright, geez. Okay, so folks, we have Phantom Rage here. I still don't know what the hell is making that beeping sound. I really don't. I don't know where that music is coming from, too. I feel like we're gonna get copyrighted, Sunmo. Can we, like, take care of that? I get it. You want me to open this up? I don't know why. What's so great about this set? And how can this set possibly help us out here? We're going to be opening up all of the cards in here to see what Sunmo is talking about in regards to the upgrades that we possibly can make to the deck. He said that there's some allies that we're going to be focusing on getting, so that way we can kind of just bolster up the strength of our deck. But I'm just like, the deck is pretty strong already. Why would we need to add any more cards to it? I mean, we have mainly all the Ancient Warriors that we need. There really aren't any other things that we can do. But we'll open up the entire set for this. It's going to be a fairly long video, but we'll have to see what cards we get. Proof Finesse, Raiders Unbreakable, Gluttonous, Mutant G8, Raid Raptor, UA Man of the Watch, Awakening, Banquet, and Mutant Blast are the first few cards that we're going to be getting. So I don't think that those are the cards that we are looking for, folks. He said that there are some cards in here that are going to help us out. Strangulanius, Mutant Clash, 1 or 8. And we have a Phantom Knight in there. Seems like Phantom Rage isn't really the raging thing that we're looking for. Jaja, Geonator, ooh, Virtual World Fan. That's actually a pretty cool looking card there. Arcana Reading, and UA Locker Room, saying that the allies will show themselves fairly soon. Alright, well, let's find out. Let's see if they will. See if I can do this. Do not replicate what I just did. That was very dangerous. GB88, Banquet of Millions, Dogmatica Schism, Mutant Arsenal, Charge into the Dark World, Mutant Fusion, and Virtual World Lee. You're saying the Tri-Brigades. The Tri-Brigades are going to be helping us out. How so? We'll have to see. We will have to see based on whatever cards we're pulling here. Banquet of Millions. It doesn't seem like any of them are showing up, my friends. I thought that you mentioned that there was going to be a brigade here. Seems like Sunmo, you were lying on me. Where are these Tri-Brigades, sir? I don't see any of them. Geonator Transversum, Mutant Expansion, Infernity Doom Archfiend, Nerval. Interesting. Huh, maybe we can use these cards. I'll put Nerval there to the side. We'll have to see what cards we can get out of the rest of this set. This might end up being a fairly decent upgrade to the deck, but I guess, again, it really all depends on like all of the Tri-Brigade cards, but seeing one so far, that doesn't really give me much confidence that these are going to be cards that are going to be shaping or changing our deck exponentially. The Silver Sheller. Rugal the Silver Sheller. Well, that's 2 now. Okay, I might have to eat my own words, but we'll have to find out. Again, this is a fairly big set. I mean, I think that this puts us even over our budget. I'm not so sure if we can, if we'll have much of anything left to do. There's a second Nerval, so that'll be over there. I know we have the secret rare, right? We haven't pulled the secret yet. The secret on this side, we'll have to see what it is. Tri-Brigade Revolt. Okay, I'll hold on to that. Infernity Wildcat. All right, we got about 4 cards so far. We got a second Ultra Rare. I know the first Ultra Rare was that Virtual World card. Mutant Cry, UA Man of the Match. Agio. Another Silver Sheller. Seems like some of the cards we'll be having to take out might be out of our extra deck. We'll have to find out here. Dogmatic Schism. This card. Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon. Ooh, that's a pretty cool looking card there. Jack in the Hand. So far we're getting a lot of cards here, but it looks like this might be the set. It looks like this might be just like Rise of the Duelist, where we're going to be getting a few of these sets. I don't know if I'm necessarily looking forward to that, my friend. Yuhi. All right, another Tri-Brigade card, Tri-Brigade Revolt. Interesting. We do have the two other cards there. Tri-Brigade Oath. Very interesting there. Mutant Blast, GG, Mutant Synthesis, Cupid, and then Qinglong. I think that was the name of that other card. Let's see what we pull out of here. Infernity Conjurer, Exceed Import. Oh, and Mutant ST46. We'll get all of those cards, and I'm going to take this bulk garbage and kind of just move it over there. Grab the rest of these cards as well, or these packages. Kind of keep the station and the mat clean. So, Sunmo, so far we've gotten 2 Tri-Brigade cards, and the rest of these we'll have to see what else we can pull. Infernity Conjurer, UA Libero Spiker, Nyan, another Nerval, that's the 3rd one. So we're working with 3 of them. 3 of them things. Alright, let's see what else we can get. Heal Eagle, GG, Trapper, Mutant, Splash. Okay, alright. Not bad. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna have to like shake these cards. See what other things we can pull. I guess, we should really just make, sealed only Virtual World based off of the cards here. Or sealed only Mutant. Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo. It's a fairly interesting card. Can we even use this? No, we can't. We don't run for hires. I thought that this would have been like some generic Beast Warrior Wing Beast support, but doesn't really seem like that for hire card is. Seems like it's mainly geared for hire monsters. Alright, Heal Eagle, Tri-Brigade Oath, Long, that card, and that card. Okay. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more packs. I don't know. We can get an Ultra Rare. There's an Ultra Rare in here. I think that's the 3rd Tri-Brigade Oath, Kyoku. The 3rd Silver Sheller. 1 or 8. Alright. Seems like we'll be turning up with our Nervals for the most part. Lulu is going to be the last card that we get. I feel like if this card is still being used in Virtual Worlds, then it might be worth something, but we'll have to really just see what it is and how it's really going to be used. It might be sold off or something. Ungyo, Rasen Ryu, Tri-Brigade Revolt. I think we already have all 3 of those. And then the last card that we can possibly pull out of this set is what I believe a secret rare, right? I think that's it. A Gizmek, ooh, that'll be interesting. Silver Sheller, I think we already have 3 of them. This last card is going to be our secret rare monster and or spell and or trap. I don't think they're, aside from Airborne Assault, I'm trying to think of like what were the good cards in here. Shurag, the Ominous Omen. Tri-Brigade. Another Tri-Brigade card. Alright, well, let's see how these things kind of like stacked up. I'll move all the common cards over here. We're going to have some fairly significant changes to the deck now, based off of some of these cards that we pulled. So, based off of this, I have one of these, two of these. I'll be putting Nerval in. We also have Silver Sheller. I'll probably put 2 Silver Shellers in for now. The 3 Nervals will be holding on to Oath. I don't think that we can use target one link monster control special summon. Maybe we can use it. Revolt, I don't know. But we do have the Silver Sheller, and we also have Nerval there. So some big changes are coming now to the extra deck, and we'll really just have to see how some of these things can stack up based on the cards. I already have an impression of the cards that I'm going to be taking out to fill in for these 6. So that'll be it for episode 5. So far, the oncoming of the Tri-Brigades. It seems like they're slowly but surely coming into play here. So we'll have to see what changes we'll be making to the deck. That's going to be in the next set of footage. So what we're looking at here is the current build of the deck. Now, granted, this is episode 5, and this deck is leagues behind the actual October ban list. So that really explains the 3 10 keys in here. I would say probably up until about episode 6 or 7, we'll have the most updated version of what we're working with. So the entire deck itself is actually going to look a lot different once we get those other additional cards in. But let's take a look at what we have now. Most of our Ancient Warrior stuff stays the same. We have Zhangde, Guan Yuan, 2 Zhang Yuans, and 3 Sun Mo's. We're still running the triple Reborn Tengu just to help us get out some of our Link monsters. Finishing off with the rest of our Ancient Warriors, we have Zhou Gong, 2 Lu Xuans, Jia Wen, and Zhuge Kong. We're still going to be keeping the Fire Fist Ravens, and I think that I'm going to still keep him even though I'm only going to be playing 1 10 key and 1 10 Su. He still is a really good card to help me get those extra spell cards on the field, and if I'm not going to use the spell cards for anything to boost my monster's attack, I still get the extra summon with Tensu, and having that extra card on the field can also help me if I'm trying to use Darumidal. Afterwards, we have our 2 Ash Blossoms. We're using the Cerberlull, and once we get a Karis, we'll be able to actually use Cerberlull's effect. We have our 2 Nervals, triple Dark Ruler No More, Reborn, Cosmic Cyclone, Super Poly, Tensu, 3 Visits, Borrowing of Arrows, and our 10 keys. And finally, to finish off our traps, we got 2 Imperms and 2 Defensive Chang Bonds. Now, again, eventually, let's see, Sunmo's planning something, so we'll have to see how the deck plays out as we continue to add more and more Tri-Brigade cards to it. For the extra deck, however, we do still run our fusions because we still have a main Super Poly type of playstyle that can come in handy. Our Tiger King and Abyss Dweller are really the only 2 Exceeds that we're going to need until we possibly pull a Zeus. If we don't end up pulling a Zeus for the Sealed Only series, then we'll just keep it to the way it is. Abyss Dweller still has a lot of playability in most of the decks that require or help get monsters from the graveyard, and if we're not going to use him, then we can just put him into the side deck. For our Link monsters, we're still running Borreload until I get a Boral Sword. We have our new addition, Shureg and Silver Sheller. We're running our Eagle, as well as our Cerberus. Hulk is still coming in handy. We have 3 tuners in here, so the deck is still able to use him. If we end up getting the rest of the tuners that we need, then it'll actually be a little bit more viable, but we also still need that Shooting Riser Dragon as well in order to actually utilize Hulk's effect. Darumidal, just a really good card. Honestly, I think it's going to stay in regardless, as well as our last card here, which is Almirage. Finally, moving on to the side deck, just some cards to help us out. We got our Gamma Seals, our Skullmeisters, our Lu Jing, our 2 Effect Veilers, our 1-for-1 Desires Called by the Grave, Double Twin Twister, Ingen, which actually kind of doesn't make much sense, although I do have Swan. It's like, I probably am never going to use Ingen ever again. And then finally, our Royal Decrees, which I am still going to hold on to because I feel like it's a real big sleeper card. And if the format ever changes back to like a heavy control format, we're going to need this to help us out. But that pretty much ends up with the deck. Let's check out some of the duels. So for our first duel, let's see how well we can actually manage to do. We start off with a pretty good hand, getting a few searchers, but really the biggest part about this is that we actually are finally at a stage where we're drawing more than 1-3 visits. That will allow us to get so many extra advantage, or rather card advantage,
for our duel. As you can see, I already have 4 Ancient Warrior cards in my hand, and now thanks to having that triple visits, now that we have 3 of them, I can actually start sending some of them to actually bolster up the rest of my field. So we're going to end off our turn with both a Sunmo and a Lu Xuan. Our opponent only activates 1 Day of Peace, so that's really going to allow us to set up a little bit more if we need to. Now the misplay here is that I actually summon out Zhuge Kong when I probably should have just activated the 3 visits to get another card in my hand. However, I will be honest, I am feeling very confident having both the 2 Zhang Yuans and the Guan Yuan in my hand as well. Now attacking, I can't really do anything. However, attacking with Lu Xuan will allow me to draw a card. For some weird reason, it seems like my opponent might have forgotten that he activated 1 Day of Peace, and he decides to imperm me, which I guess doesn't really do anything. He wasn't going to take any damage either way, but it still lets me get the card that I need. So we end up drawing our Fabled Cerberlull, and now our opponent's finally going into their combo, but they've already used an imperm, so we can decide whether or not we want to negate what he has, but instead we're going to let this combo kind of play out. Again, I am still lucking on the fact that I do have my Zhang Yuans, and the fact that he can't attack me because I do have both my my Lu Xuan and my Sunmo on the field as well. He ends up going for Seeger, and then activating a Cyber Repair Plant. We're going to negate that with Zhuge Kong's effect, and then chain that to our Sunmo's effect, which is then going to bounce his card. That's going to put him into his end phase. Now, I can actually go into my battle phase, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to summon off my Zhuge Kong that I got thanks to Sunmo. I'm then going to activate Zhuge Kong's effect to get Borrowing of Arrows. Activate Borrowing of Arrows. Then I need to special summon Zhang De. And this, I believe, might be game. We're going to attack, we're going to get our extra card off of Lu Xuan. We'll attack in with all of the rest of our monsters, thus leaving our opponent on a measly 500 life points left. Now, this is where we have to figure out, are we going to go for one of our Tri-Brigade links? Or are we just going to manage to end our turn and give our opponent a little bit of mercy? He ends up removing from play some of his cyber cards, which will allow him to get Altian? I have no idea how to pronounce this card. Let me know in the comments down below. But we're going to respond to that by sending one of our cards to the grave. It's going to help us get another Ancient Warrior card on the field. We're then going to negate his monster's effect thanks to Zhuge Kong. He's going to Dark Ruler no more me. I'm not going to take any damage, so I'm actually fine with that for the rest of this turn. Even though it does mean that, unfortunately, my sort of heavy defense is going to go away as he summons out Rampage Dragon, thus getting rid of the rest of my backfield. Now we might actually be in a situation if I didn't have Zhang Yuan and the Dark Ruler no more in my hand. So we're kind of tight, but we might be able to turn this around. It really just depends on if we're able to get that extra 500 damage in. If he's able to pull off Infinity, then we probably don't have any luck. Fortunately though for us, the Dark Ruler no more does prevent me from taking any damage, so he is going to get rid of most of my field. But I will still be able to get out a few extra summons. I'm going to actually get Jia Wen off of my extra defensive Changban. He's going to go for that. That'll give me an additional target. I'm going to summon out Zhang Yuan in order to keep the Jia Wen, and that is where my opponent's just like, you know what, I can't attack each of these monsters, so I'm just going to surrender. Our next opponent is going up against is Tsunade. You already know this. Paper Gang all day. Paper Gang for life. This is actually a very, very terrible hand, so I don't think that we'll be able to make it out. Now again, as I mentioned before, this duel, or rather most of the duels that you're going to see from episodes 5, probably up until episode 8, are duels before the ban list. So we still have our 3 Tenkeys, but it also means that the opponents that we're facing are probably going to be using some older decks. You're probably not going to see a lot of Despia. You're probably not going to see anything that's current. You might see a lot of Dogmatica. You're probably going to see a lot of Shadal Invoked. And you're going to see some Scrap Raptor, which also means you're probably going to see some Dinosaur decks that we're going to be facing off against. Now, here's where we have to kind of figure out, is Reborn Tengu a really good card? Because in situations like this, if I draw more than one Reborn Tengu, I'm not really going to be able to utilize his effect if I can't send him to the grave usefully. Now, if I do get the Sunmo, then I can use that effect, but just having the Reborn Tengu in my hand doesn't really help me out, especially if my opponent can do something like Ash Blossom just to refuse, or rather negate, my entire sort of combo. So we're kind of stuck here. He's going to end up getting his World Legacy Succession, and we're basically facing off against a scrap World Legacy deck. At this point, I'm really just waiting for the Orcus cards to come out, because it's just like, alright, you have scraps, you have World Legacy, where are the Orcus? Somewhere in here. If anybody plays Scrap Recycler or Scrap Golem in 2020 or 2021, it's like they're more than likely not playing a pure Scrap deck, and it's most likely going to be an Orcus deck. So he's going to send his Jackalope to get the Tsuchinoko, and he has a full field, so he can go for a Link 4. He's going to end up getting the Barricade Board Blocker. Now, Barricade Board is a very, very interesting card. It'll allow him to discard, I believe, to add a field spell, unless I'm wrong about that. Either way, he's able to get the cards that he needs in the graveyard, sending Symbol Skeleton, and then, of course, getting out the World Chalice, or rather, the Orchestrated Nightmare cards that he needs. So we're really in a pinch right now, because I believe I went first, so this field is pretty much all set for me to take the L. And if we do end up taking that, then again, we're just going to have to reevaluate how useful it is to run cards like Reborn Tengu, because having duplicates of that type of card in our deck doesn't really help us out in situations like this. He has a full force of board, really, to kind of just take us out. And I really see no reason as to why, if I was in his situation, or her situation, that I would actually keep my opponent alive. It's like I have more than enough capability to take them out, and that is exactly what my opponent does. Tsunade is the 5th Hokage for a reason. She ends up taking that duel. Now, we're on to our last one, facing off against MapleStory. Great game, but again, another situation of not really the best hand. All of our searchers are here, but none of our ancient warriors. So that's kind of the concern. Do we keep our searchers and add more ancient warriors, or do we take out the searchers and keep the ancient warriors for no reason, just in order to kind of like get them? Because this is not the ideal situation. We need to kind of have less of these spells and more of our monsters. Anyway, our opponent ends up with Avermax. Again, not the best situation that we want to be in. I don't really even have the chance to take no type of damage, but I can probably get something off because he does have a Link 2 in the graveyard, so that might allow us to actually pull off some crazy nonsense combo if we're able to. But we're really going to have to stretch it out with this one. So let's see what we plan on doing. I do have that Monster Reborn. IP Masquerena, if I send off Reborn Tengu now, I can go for a Link 3 and a Link 4. This is the part where the Tri-Brigades finally come in handy. We go for our Link 3, which is Rugal. Reborn Tengu's effect activates, helping me get another one. Then we can go for our Link 4, and Rugal sends out Shureg. Now, Shureg does not target, so we don't have to worry about Avermax, and we're able to get an additional one. So, Reborn Tengu helps us out, but it's really, really important that you realize that Reborn Tengu is the main extender that we're really going to be using in order to get out the rest of our Tri-Brigade monsters. That Monster Reborn really just helped because it allowed me to use only 2 Tengus instead of 3 of them to go for Shureg. Now, without his Avermax, that's pretty much it for my opponent, so they call it quits. All in all, we got some really, really good duels in there. I think it's about time that we look at our duel and look at our deck and really just have a summative conversation. So the deck is getting closer and closer to where we want it to be. We're actually adding a lot more cards, and I'm really glad that the Tri-Brigades kinda came in clutch, even though it was only the ones that we needed to actually help us out. So I'm actually really happy that we were able to use both Shureg and Silver Sheller to help us out in getting the rest of those combos. Moving forward, we're going to be opening up a lot more of Phantom Rage. We're also going to need to get some more Lightning Overdrive as well as some Blazing Vortex in order to get the rest of the cards that we need. And there is an additional Ancient Warrior monster that we are going to be looking forward to getting, aside from the Link monster that we also need to finish out our extra deck. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being very patient as well as we got this episode out. Episode 6 and 7 will be out hopefully before the end of the year. And with that being said, I've been the Artist with Afro. Be sure to watch us on all other forms of social media, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And that, my friends, is the show. Thanks for watching.